As indicated by the name, power-ups are intended to make your power go up by giving you better stats, gear, or at least making the music go awesome for a short while. But beware what power-ups you pick up, friends, because there are some out there that look cool, but that are far less helpful than they initially appear. See for yourself with these 7 more worst power-ups that screwed you over. Enjoy! In most Zelda games, armor isn't really a thing. You get a little green tunic that you wear throughout the entire game, and if you're lucky, a shield that a big worm will probably steal from you. Some Zelda games, however, include some beautiful alternative armor for you to wear, such as The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which features the awesome-looking and wildly covetable magic armor. This armor is both the best-looking armor in the game and, regrettably, the most expensive, costing hundreds of thousands of rupees and located in a shop so fancy you can't even go in without having your shoes shined. However, there is a side quest you can complete whereby Chudley's Fine Goods and Fancy Trinkets Emporium, the prohibitively expensive shop in which the armor resides, gets taken over by the bargain convenience store chain Malomart, which drops all its prices, bringing the magic armor within your price range, which is good news. What's bad news is that the magic armor sucks. Yes, it negates all damage when you get hit, but at a cost of 12 rupees every time, and it drains your rupees by 1 rupee every second for as long as you have it equipped. Bearing in mind that it still costs a fair bit to buy the magic armor even at a heavy discount, this means you'll soon be more broke than an untempered giant's knife. And when you run out of money, the magic armor deactivates and becomes incredibly heavy, meaning you have to clank about the place like RoboCop. I'd buy that for $1. If I had $1, I'm broke. In the Yakuza games, the streets of Tokyo's Kamurocho district are second only to backstage at a WWE show in terms of how often people try to randomly beat you up. Seriously, when it's not Majima hiding in a trash can, or enormous shakedown artists trying to steal your cash, it's gangs of thugs who have decided the best course of action for their night out is to try and have a fist fight with the legendary Dragon of Dojima. It doesn't usually go well for them. However, there is an item in the game that you can equip which, rather than giving you a power boost, instead makes your enemies way more powerful and aggressive. It's called the Charismatic Autobiography, and according to the item's in-game description, it's the life story of someone very cool, which only had a very limited print run. As such, people are constantly trying to beat you up and take it from you. What this means in practice is that enemies who would usually hang back and take their turn when fighting you instead all swarm you at once, giving you much less time to do cool moves and much more time to have your head kicked in. I don't know who this autobiography is by, but there's another item that does basically the same thing called the Charismatic Photo, which gives us another glimpse at their face. Well, you can see why everyone's so desperate to get their hands on it. Wizards & Warriors was the second game ever made by Rare. It's a NES platformer with a fantasy theme in which you play a knight with a 20-foot vertical leap. Cruelly born before the invention of basketball. Wizards & Warriors features lots of tasty loot for you to acquire as you make your way through the Kingdom of Elrond, such as the Boots of Lava Walking, which let you, yes, walk on lava, and the Boots of Force, which let you kick things. It's not all boots of things though, and indeed it's not all good things either, because now we come to the Cloak of Darkness, which makes your character invisible. Sounds good, right? The only problem is that it makes your character invisible to you, the player, while apparently remaining very visible to all the actual enemies in the game. So all the baddies can still get you, but now you can't actually see where you are, which, let me tell you, makes platforming a lot harder. I'm just saying, there's a reason this didn't show up in GoldenEye or Sea of Thieves. Sonic the Hedgehog is known for his power-ups, like the invincibility sparkles, or the famous super sneakers that make you run super fast for about 3 seconds until you hit a wall. These power-ups are all encased within old CRT TV sets that are scattered around the levels, and so before long, whenever you see a TV set, you'll make a beeline for it, knowing there's something good inside. That is, unless you're playing a Sonic game, like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which included the power-up known as the Eggman Mark, which is a TV set featuring the face of Sonic's arch-rival, Dr. Eggman, FKA Dr. Robotnik. This TV, when smashed, damages Sonic, causing him to lose all his rings. Or, if you have no rings, it kills you outright. Brings a whole new meaning to "there's nothing good on TV." While there are power-ups in Pokemon games, the real way you make your Pokemon stronger is by leveling up, evolving, and unlocking or discovering new, more powerful moves for their arsenal. One such move from the Pokemon games is Focus Energy, a non-damaging, normal-type move that increases your Pokemon's critical hit ratio, making you much more likely to land a devastating critical hit. Which sounds good, except for the fact that in Generation 1, Focus Energy didn't work properly. In fact, it did the exact opposite of what it was supposed to do, dividing your critical hit chance by 4 instead of multiplying it. As such, you were 4 times less likely to get a critical hit than you would be if you didn't have Focus Energy taking up one of your precious move slots, making this the worst Pokemon decision you could have made in Gen 1. I mean, apart from picking Squirtle as your starter. I'm kidding! I'm kidding! Please don't yell at me, Squirtle fans. Actual Earthworm inside a power suit, Earthworm Jim's main method of attack is his blaster, a rapid-fire pistol that can also concentrate fire into deadly plasma bolts. Well, it beats whipping things with his own body. Earthworm Jim 2 added some new weapon power-ups for Jim to use, but if you were smart, you'd avoid the one called the Bubble Gun at all costs. That's because this gun is exactly what it sounds like, a toy gun that fires harmless soap bubbles that do no damage at all to your enemies. And what's worse is that you can't switch weapons in the Sega Genesis version of Earthworm Jim 2. The bubble gun comes loaded with 10 bubbles, and you'll need to fire them all off before you can switch back to an actual weapon that can do damage to the things you're trying to kill. A weapon like Jim's own body. Right. Hey, at this point, I'll take it.
What are you doing out here, Petruccio? You should be in bed.
I want those feathers.
What for?
It's a secret.
If I get them for you, will you go back inside?
Yes, I promise.
Who can forget the Assassin's Creed 2 side quest in which Ezio's mother asks him to collect 100 feathers in honor of his dead brother who really loved feathers. Or something. Look, I didn't have time to listen to the reasoning. I had 100 feathers to collect.
Grazie, brother.
Dedicated gamers who stuck with this legendarily tedious challenge were rewarded with a special powered-up bit of gear known as the Auditore cape. This was a fancy cloak that marked out the wearer as a true master of Assassin's Creed 2, and which you'd be sure to throw on immediately to show off your skill and dedication to picking up bird garbage from Florentine rooftops.
Hey, who's that over there?
However, in doing so, these players were actually making things much more difficult, because it turns out that the Auditore cape does power someone up, and that someone is everyone within a 20-mile radius who becomes instantly aggroed. So yeah, good luck getting anything done while wearing this cape that you spent hours unlocking, unless the thing you're trying to get done is get hacked up by a bunch of furious guards. That is going to be way, way easier.
We'll feed you to the flames. Sia lodato il Signore che divertimento.
There you have it, those are some more terrible video game power-ups that you should never pick up because they will actively make your life worse. If we missed your personal unfavourite, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you enjoy these videos, why not consider joining the OX Supporters Club over at patreon.com/OX Club to help us keep making them. Thanks, and we'll see you next time on Outside Xbox.